So Dan Mintz is at the Streets of St. Charles Funny Bone this weekend. He got 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow. A lot of people know you as the voice of Tina Belcher on Bob's Burgers. And, man, are people coming up to you all the time and just going, do the voice, do the voice, do the voice?
Well, my voice is just my own voice.
It is your own voice.
Yeah. So, yeah, it is funny people ask me to do the voice. I'm like, well, I have been doing it last minutes you're talking.
This is it, guys. This is it.
Are they yelling out, like, specific things for you to say?
Yeah, people will request things. And usually, I mean, we've recorded so many episodes, and we record them so far in advance, I just cannot remember at all what they're... I'm like, could you write that down exactly? I don't remember ever saying that.
Have people been asking you to leave, like, voicemails and, hey, could you do my outgoing message?
Well, I don't know if do people even have outgoing messages anymore? I feel
well, like I mean, on your phone, like when you call the voicemail.
They'll ask me to they'll ask me to call someone or make just a message, like a birthday message for someone from Tina. They never want it from me, but yeah.
Yeah, what do they call that?
A free cameo.
No. I mean, what is
the answer machine message?
Is it your outgoing message? Is that what you call it?
No, yeah, that's what you call it. But I feel like you never listen to those anymore.
No,
you hang up in text.
Yeah, because if I call you and I'm expecting to talk to you, if you don't answer, instead of me going, "Hey man, it's Tony," I'll just text you and go, "Call me," or like, "Are we still meeting at 4?"
Yeah,
and it's over.
Yeah. By the time you hear the voicemail pick up, you go, "Why am I calling anyway?"
Yeah.
Who's even leaving a voicemail anymore? When was the last time you actually left a voicemail for somebody?
Well, I do a lot, and then I'm like, why did I just do that?
They saw that you called.
Yeah.
You usually get a missed call.
Every voicemail I get is, "Hi, this is a medical thing, and you owe us money."
Yeah. Yeah, but it says Dan. You know, Dan called me, so I'm going to call him back. Why even? I almost get angry when somebody leaves a voicemail.
Yeah.
Unless it's a I call you because I'm going to call you to tell you that we're meeting at 6, and we're not going to meet at 6 anymore. We're going to meet at 7. I can leave a message and go, "Hey, man, change your plans, meeting at 7. See you there." Click. Because I know when I listen to that message, there is no callback. I don't have to do anything further here. You can also solve that in a text, though, too.
I would be scared that they never would get the message, and I would just text anyway to make sure.
It's just like sending an audio message. We're just so used to being, like, thinking that it's a hassle having to call voicemail and then go through the thing. Remember, we used to have to put in a code.
Yeah.
And that's the hassle, and we just kind of let that build into ourselves.
Yeah.
But it's just a voice. It's just an audio message. It's the exact same thing as throwing it in a text thread. It's the same thing. I gotta ask, since you were saying about the voicing, we get all the time because we do a lot of events out in the community, and every other person comes up and says, "Oh, you really sound like that." Do people give you that all the time since you're using your voice?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's. I think that, well, people sometimes don't even, like, realize it's the voice because they're picturing a 13-year-old girl, not a 41-year-old man. So I could be talking to someone for a while, and they could say they're asked, like, "What do you do?" "Oh, I do voiceover on Bob's Burgers." And they're like, "Oh, I've been watching that for forever." I had no idea. But, yeah, that's exactly the voice.
So it's like Bart Simpson is voiced by a woman.
Cartwright. Yeah.
Tina Belcher is voiced by Dan. Has anybody said to you, you're taking a job away from a woman?
Yeah, I mean, it's come up, but I think I was, I was originally cast as a boy, and then they changed the character to a girl. So, I don't know. I feel like, well, it was originally just going to be 2 kids, and then they added me as a 3rd kid. So there's no other job that anyone would have gotten if I didn't get this job.
So they made the character for you specifically.
Basically, yeah. I really owe Lauren, the creator, a lot for doing that.
So you didn't have to audition, like, "Hey, we would like you to do this voice"?
No, it was like a pilot presentation, so it wasn't a full pilot yet. So the network was not making them audition people, and it was just Lauren. I actually I got the job through John Benjamin, who plays Bob and also Archer and a bunch of stuff. But he just recommended. I just met him through this writing job we were both doing, and he told Lauren, like, "Hey, there's this guy with this really weird voice. Maybe you should put him on the show." And Lauren thought agreed that it was a weird voice, so made a character.
Were people always telling you had a very distinct voice?
Yeah, definitely. I think even when I was a kid, some people would say you should you have the kind of the voice of a cartoon.
Right. So you chose the right profession.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, you grew up in Alaska, so I mean, would people say you have? I don't know what an Alaska accent sounds like, really.
Yeah, I think most people. I feel like at least when I was there, it was like most adults like moved there as adults, and then then kids were born there, so it was just a mix of whatever your parents were and whatever accent. Yeah.
Were your parents originally from Anchorage?
No, my parents are from Boston and L.A.
So Boston and L.A.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so one of them's got a thick Boston accent.
No, not, very mild Boston accent.
and why they moved to Alaska of all places?
They were actually just going to go for a year. Like my dad was out of law school to do a job for a year, and then they loved it and stayed, and then they're still there.
It's a unique place. Are they heavy drinkers?
No, but that would be a good guess based on.
Yeah, dude. The first time I was in Anchorage, I wasn't there for more than 4 minutes. And we've been traveling all day. I think we flew from Florida and some other stuff. And they're like, "Well, you got to go out, and we got to go to the Bush Company, and we got to go here, and we got to go." And it was just drinking.
What's the Bush Company?
It's a strip club, and it's like the place. We got pulled over on the way. There's ice everywhere.
Moon was in a touring band, so if we defer to Moon when it comes to certain locations.
There's ice everywhere. There's a moose in the road. If we stop for the moose, they're like, "Don't mess with this. You know, I know you guys are tourists. It's not funny. Like they'll tear you to pieces. Stay out of that way." And then a police officer. We went right through a red light. Police officer pulls us over.
You got escorted?
Dude, they pulled us over. Comes up. He's like, "What are you doing?" And the driver goes, "I got this band from out of town." And those folks in Anchorage are so nice. They're so mean. And then they find out that you're not from there, and they're like, "Oh!" And the officer goes, "Oh shoot, take him to the Bush Company." And said, "Here, I'll lead you there." And he led us to the Alaskan Bush Company.
Hilarious.
So is that like, oh, we need to show this guy a cultural landmark,
dude?
This local strip club.
And apparently, and there's another bar I couldn't remember. What's that? Chilkoot Charlie's.
Chilkoot Charlie's, yeah.
So we go there, and there's some regular who's like a big burly dude, and this is his chair. We're in his chair, and this guy was ready to fight us.
Wait, what's
all.
this place called?
Chilkoot Charlie's. It's like a place with like 6 different bars in this one thing, and it's just where everybody goes because everything's frozen, right?
Okay.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
And we're in this place, and this guy's about to beat our ass for being on his stool. And then somebody goes, no, they're from out of town. And this guy buys us all shots. Moments later.
So if it was a local, he would have pounded him into a
because they know better.
But the sun didn't come up, and it was just like drinking central. But everyone was so kind to strangers, and I guess that's just like a thing for Anchorage, or maybe it's just Alaskan. Did you find any sort of drinking issues going on up there?
Well, I was there just as a kid until so I mean, not that there was no drinking in high school,
right.
But I didn't go out to bars. And then when I went back as an adult, I was like amazed at like how many bars they had for the population.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Per capita, like.
Yeah.
Your parents still live up there?
Yeah, I still go up there every year or two. I didn't really appreciate it growing up, but like I love going back now.
Is it one of those like everywhere you grow up, I gotta get out of here?
I
gotta get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, I think everywhere is. I don't know if you know Jonah Ray, a comedian, but he just has a joke about like because he grew up in Hawaii and like, but just even there, it's like, oh, I got to get out of this place.
But you wind up being an overachiever and going to Harvard.
Yeah. I mean, my dad went to Harvard, so that makes it much easier to get in. I'm just a legacy, so you don't have to do much to get in. But yeah.
What do you mean you don't have to do it? You still have to have pretty decent grades.
You have to do a little bit.
Because I'm trying to set my son up. Set my son up for.
Oh sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Community college.
Yeah. We'll do community college first, and then we'll see what happens.
Legacy at what was it, Ramapo or something?
Ramapo College in New Jersey. Right. New Jersey's #1 liberal arts college. Watch. Went for 2 semesters. But. So was it you were destined to go to Harvard? This was the plan.
I mean, I guess I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket, but it is kind of in my head where I want to go. And for comedy, they have the Harvard Lampoon, which is amazing,
legendary.
Yeah, and that's like it just opens so many doors. So I definitely was excited to be able to go there.
But once so you get accepted to Harvard, and that's in your head like Harvard Lampoon. But what was your degree going to be in?
Oh, my degree was because I wanted to do comedy was just what I was interested in. So, so I did philosophy and math.
Oh, wow. What did your parents have planned for you? That's the way. I'm sure my parents wanted me to do something way different than this.
I think I have like those like, you know, third generation parents that just like are happy to have you do something creative. It's not like, I mean, you know, they're like, oh, you have to go to medical school and be a doctor or whatever. So they were happy with it. I mean, I think at a certain point, if I, you know, had to move back in with them because I wasn't making it, they would have felt differently. But
well, was there a point? Was there like okay, I'm going to take it out to this far, and if it doesn't work by this date or by this milestone, I'm going to do something else? Or did you have no backup plan?
I mean, I guess I didn't have a date, but I guess my backup plan would have been to like go to law school or something. I don't know.
Wow. I always hear from comedians and stuff that say that they are usually the funniest in their family. Growing up, was there a lot of like comedy in your house, or were you always like the one making people laugh, or were your parents funny?
I think, yeah, my parents are really funny, and I learned from them. I was a little bit of a late bloomer at comedy. I was a very shy kid. I feel like as a kid, like every once in a while, I would accidentally make people laugh, and I was like, what did I even say?
Yeah.
I try to like slowly learn like the rules of comedy based on that. But yeah, I know as a kid, my dad just loved like Seinfeld. And other comedies, but that was the big one back then. And like just listening to him laugh, like how loud he laughed watching, and how much he loved it, just made comedy feel like a true like real like calling, and not just like you know, some people are like, oh, it's just, you know, comedy, not something real, but it felt like a real thing to do.
Now being together with a comedian, like
Your wife is a comedian.
Is it just people probably think, oh man, it's just bucket of yucks over there.
At home, it's yuck. Yeah, she's there with an arrow through her head.
yeah. I'm sure that's what they think. And I'm sure when you're at home, it's probably normal life, right? That's what I would assume.
I mean, yeah. I mean, being around, I'm like an introvert, and like but I'm kind of cursed to constantly be around extroverts, and so it's like there's nothing I like better than being around like a comedian. But as soon as there's like more than 3 in a room, it starts to get a little exhausting.
Oh, who's gonna one up? Who's gonna one up the next person?
Yeah.
I can only imagine. But you got a good, like your crew, like John Mulaney's, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah,
you got an awesome crew.
It's a good scene.
There's so yeah. I feel so lucky to know like so many amazing comedians.
I mean, for you, was it one of those? I don't know how I got here, but somehow I'm writing for big TV shows, and as far as like for me, it was like one thing led to another, led to another thing, and here we are.
Yeah, I mean, it is always like, little, you don't realize at the time how one step leads to the next.
Yeah.
I mean getting Bob's Burgers is the biggest example of that. Like, I had a million plans, but playing the voice of a 13-year-old girl in a cartoon was never
was not
one of them.
Yeah, it was not in the plan.
And even when it started, they asked me to come, record the presentation, I was like, oh, cool, if a quick like $700. It never occurred to me it would be anything more
Yeah, you
than
just
that.
thought it was just another thing.
Yeah.
Is there somebody you could point to be the person you met, and that's the turning point of your career?
Wow. I guess it'd be John Benjamin, because he got me Bob's Burgers, and that's the biggest thing that people would know me for.
Yeah, where'd you guys meet? Like, was it a happenstance, or was he at a party?
No, we were both writing on Dimitri Martin's Comedy Central show, important things. And yeah, so we were just, I went out to New York to do it, and for a few months, and so we were, and I don't know if I think I'd never met him before. So yeah, and I just started, talking to him, and I'm trying to think of a story with that, but I don't have one.
So it was one of these writing rooms, and you guys get close.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
he gets this thing, and then, hey man, you want to do this? Want to do this voice?
Yeah.
Did you want to be a writer or a performer?
I mean, I think performing is more fun. It's, especially with stand-up, you write one good joke and you get to tell it a million times. And writing is just a little bit like, you pitch a joke and people like it and you feel great, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I have to think of the next thing.
But for somebody with stage fright, like
yeah,
you, getting up on stage first time.
Yeah, well, the first time was a nightmare. I don't know how I got through that.
Because you have a unique style of stand-up. If you've seen Dan Mintz, do stand-up, I mean, who are you looking at?
Oh, yeah, I cannot look at the crowd.
You don't look at
Oh,
anybody.
I look at kind of the back of the room.
Like you stare. It's not walking around. Just stare straight. Straight ahead.
Which makes it so much funnier.
Yeah, right.
Because it's almost
It's a unique
like
style.
Yeah, it's almost like when you're watching it, you're like, this dude's he's not telling jokes to me. He's just telling funny stories. I just happen to be in the room.
All right.
I remember asking a pastor actually that used to kind of do that. It looked like he was staring off in the sky. And I was like, hey, what the heck are you looking at? He's like, oh, I find my favorite exit sign in whatever building I'm in, and I focus on that. Do you find a particular focal point?
No, I think it's more just for me, like the fear that like I could be doing fine and then I look at one person and they're just staring at me.
Yeah.
And that's all you focus on. You go, why didn't you laugh at that?
Yeah, I can't deal with that.
So tell me about your first time.
My first time it was
In comedy.
In comedy. In comedy.
Yeah,
That's the same night actually. So it could be either. But it was open mic in Boston, Dick Doherty's Comedy Vault, and I was just it's one of those things. I don't know if you've ever been to an open mic, but they last a long time, and they put a lot of people on it, and no one's in the audience is really paying attention, and I was so nervous. I just wanted to get over it, and they kept bumping me because the guy running it, their new friend would come in.
Right. You're on a list.
And it just kept being, I said, the last priority, push back, push back, push back. I never been so terrified. And then when I finally get up, I just start talking about how this is my first time and stuff, and the crowd's supportive, and I get into it, and it's a great set. And much better than the next 10 sets that I did. And I feel like if I had had like my third like bad set as my first one, I probably would have never come back.
Yeah, I was about to say, so since it was a good experience at first set, you're like, okay, this is not as bad as I thought it would be in my head.
Yeah.
But you know, every comic bombs.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's where the stage fright anxiety comes from, is I don't want to bomb. I don't want to disappoint anybody here.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I find that comforting that everyone does it, so you don't take it that personally. Is like I find it way more stressful to be, playing a instrument in a concert and like making a mistake at that is much rarer. So I'm much more scared of that kind of mistake than the bombing that everyone does all the time.
To me, and I guess as a comic, and you've been doing stand-up for how long?
Wow, 22 years.
If I bombed once, it would take me that long to get over.
Yeah.
It would take me that long I don't think I'd be able to do it again.
Well, it's probably the reason, and he's going to bring it up, I'm sure. So I'll just.
I wasn't going to bring it up. But now that you did.
He did a tight five, and as soon as it ended, and it was fantastic. I will say it was fantastic.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but okay.
As soon as it ended, he said never again, and it was because he figured, well, just like you said, the next 10 are probably going to
right.
be a little
every
rougher.
comic that we have in here talks about, okay, the first time was great, and that's why I did it again.
Interesting, yeah.
I got that great feeling of, man, I got the crowd. I'm getting cheers, adulation, standing ovation.
Go out on top.
This is it. I don't want the feeling of bombing because I'm never going to get over it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is interesting, like, because I don't mind bombing that much. But it's like if one person in a coffee shop I feel like was mad at me, I'll be depressed for a week. And
right.
You can have like 1,000 people all hating you at once for an hour. And whatever.
But you're fine with that.
Yeah.
What's the worst heckler you've dealt with?
I think it's just I don't get a lot of hecklers. I think people sense that I'm probably not going to be good at dealing with hecklers. So they're even in their drunkenness, they still.
Yeah.
I mean, I think kind of early on, and this is one thing that did affect me is, it's my first time. Nick Swartzen brought me up to open for him, and it's a great opportunity. And just like my first time doing a big club, and just someone said I think I blocked it out of my mind. It was just like you're not funny. Your jokes are not funny.
Because I can imagine Nick Swartzen crowd being kind of rowdy.
Yeah.
Yeah, although this was like a middle-aged woman. That's what made it worse.
Wow.
It felt like she wasn't drunk at all.
I can't remember who the famous.
It was almost like your mom telling you.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember who the famous comedian is, but they said that one of the worst heckles they ever heard was on their third show. It was at a small club, and it was like where you're right on top of somebody. And they said somebody in the first row, they told a joke, and a couple people chuckled, and the guy, clear as day, goes, "You should do something else." Oh. And it said it wrecked him for like a long time. I look at Buddha's.
Damn near killed him.
But yeah, he just and he said the worst part about it was the guy didn't yell it. The guy didn't scream it. It was like the few chuckles kind of died down, and then this guy up front goes, "You should probably do something else."
So what did you do? Do you remember how you responded to that?
I mean, I don't. That was part of what was dramatic, because I didn't know how to respond.
Right.
I didn't have like the quick comeback that brought the house down. Yeah.
Man.
Was there ever a time where you go, I'm not doing this again? That's it. That's it. I can't take you people. I can't take you people anymore.
I mean, that was the closest. But you always
like, why am I putting myself through? I ask myself that question when something goes wrong. I go, why am I putting myself through this?
Yeah, what am I doing here?
Why am I doing this? Why am I giving myself this agita? I don't need to be doing this.
Yeah. For me, I'm curious, performer to performer. For me, and it's because you mentioned, like, kind of staring off and not looking at faces. The bigger the crowd, the easier it is for me to perform.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm better. The bigger the show, I'm going to just knock this out of the park. If it's 30 people, now I got to see your face. I don't want to see your face. Even if I'm like in the crowd and whatever, I'm kind of like 3 steps ahead, so I'm not really seeing faces. It's more of a blur. Do you feel similar?
100%. Yeah. I mean, well, I think I'm not looking at the crowd, but just when you have a big crowd, the laughter all blends together, and it's much more predictable. And then when it's, like if you're in a small crowd, you might feel self-conscious about laughing unless someone else laughs, and like who's going to do the first laugh, and it's like, and it just is like it's way harder to get through, because it just feels like starting and stopping, and it just is, everything just goes much more smoothly with a big audience.
Can you imagine doing a show like, I think Kevin Hart played, where the Eagles, like the Eagle Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Like 60,000 people.
Wow.
Have you done an arena?
No, I don't think I could sell it.
No, I mean, maybe I just.
But it's
opening for
right,
somebody.
of course. No, at a certain point, I don't know if I've done an arena, but I've done shows where it feels too big. I don't remember who I was opening for, but it's like, because at that point, the problem is when you could have a joke that most people don't like, but like the 1% of people that like it are laughing, and that because it's so big, you have to kind of wait for that, even though everyone else is like staring at you, like, that wasn't that good a joke.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that would, a wave of laughter.
Yeah.
Like, Bill Burr does those, does those huge arena shows, and Joe Rogan, and talking about Kevin Hart. I don't know how you could get intimate with a crowd when you're with 60,000 people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the ideal would be like maybe a few thousand.
Right.
I think.
Well, go see Dan Mintz tonight, 7:30, 9:30 tomorrow, 7 and 9:30 at Street to St. Charles Funny Bone. Bob's Burgers movie is amazing. Me and the kids watched it
fantastic.
the other day.
Yeah, I love it.
Came out the same day as Top Gun. Was there any talk like, hey, we're going to beat Top Gun?
Yeah, I don't know if I thought that was on the table, but
hey, we're going to give Tom Cruise a run.
That would have been cool.
I got a buddy who's trying to like put it out there on social media that he'd be perfect for a live action. Is there any talk about doing like a live action Bob's Burgers, anything?
Oh, interesting. You mean he looks like one of the characters?
He's grown a mustache. He's grown a mustache.
And looks like Bob?
And he's going for Bob, but he's going for anything. And he's an actor.
He looks like Bob. That's
he does really
unfortunate.
well. No, he's actually a teen heartthrob. It's a dude that played Teen Wolf in the Teen Wolf show.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And he's a beautiful young man. But he's like, I want to be in a Bob's Burgers movie. And he's putting it out on social, and he's got the mustache and all that. But like, on a serious note, and I know he's being serious too, is there ever been a talk about a live action anything?
I would love to see that. I can't imagine Lauren would do that.
Right.
But yeah, I'll play Teen Wolf. I'll keep
His
that in
name's
mind.
Tyler. He's
Comes up.
Tyler. There he is. I'm telling you, if you follow him on socials,
I can see it.
his whole thing right now is he is trying to be a cast.
It literally says here, if you can petition to play Bob.
I told you.
He would be pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
How in advance do you record those?
9 months to a year.
Wow.
It's a pretty long process. Yeah.
Whoa. So, and you just go to a studio with a script, and how do they direct you? You're in a booth.
Well, as much as possible, they try to have us all do the scenes together.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a little hard during COVID, but so although some people are in New York and LA, we all hear each other in the headphones, and then you just read it through, and they encourage improv, and which the other people do more than me, and then like 2 times, and then they just go through line by line, like do it this way, do it this way.
Somebody did a rendering of what you guys would look like live.
That's actually the actors, the voice actors dressed as the characters.
That's so great.
Oh my God. Have you seen that before?
You look great.
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah. I think they did that when we did a live tour.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Dan Mintz, see him tonight, Streets of St. Charles, Funny Bone. Thank you, sir. Anything else to plug?
No, I wish I did, but just the comedy show.
You don't have a podcast?
No, I finally,
all right, first one.
I finally started an Instagram account about 6 months ago. So
yeah, so you're not very active
plug
on
that. Yeah,
you're not very active on the social medias.
Yeah.
You don't Facebook. You don't. I know you don't Twitter.
I mean, Twitter is because I tell one-liners, so I feel like if I thought of a good tweet, I would want to save it for my stand-up.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. But thank you for stopping by. And what's the Instagram?
This is Dan Mintz.
Yeah, this is Dan Mintz. We follow. We just Instagrammed him.
Oh, excellent.
There he is, Mr. Dan Mintz, everybody.
Thank you so much.